Hi folks, this is what's left of my bucket garden after the winter. Now I pulled up what was left of the plants, uh, with one exception here. I still have beets growing in this one bucket, but and it still has that little fence that I put up originally to keep cats out, and that worked well. Here's another bucket that I grew spinach in, and I put one of those little fences up to keep cats out of that one too, and it worked well. I was happy I did that. It really did work very well. The cats didn't get in there, and that makes me happy. Now, this is a tomato cage I made out of 2 inch by 4 inch galvanized steel fencing that you can get at pretty much anywhere, the Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace Hardware, I suppose, even. And I bought a whole roll of this stuff, and so I got a whole bunch of it. Now, if you wanted, you could easily buy less. I'm pretty sure they'll sell you less. You don't need a whole big roll. It's more expensive when you buy it in smaller sections, but it's still fairly inexpensive. I think a whole roll costs about $30, or it did last year. It might be more by now. Who knows, because everything's going up. Now, this is a tomato cage that I made, I bought rather, a few years ago, and it's for patio tomatoes, the little cherry type tomatoes, patio tomatoes, and this little cage is absolutely not big enough if you're under most circumstances. If you are planting one of those miniature tomato plants, this would be big enough, but it's not big enough for a big tomato plant like an early girl or a beefsteak or most others. This is for little cherry tomatoes, and this one here is about the same size as far as this opening is concerned. It's about a foot and something across, and it really isn't even nearly big enough to handle a real full-size tomato plant. It's only good for a small tomato plant. So this is what I have left from that roll of fencing that I bought. Once again, this is 2-inch by 4-inch galvanized welded steel fencing, and this is what I have left. I have enough to do a whole lot more tomato cages or something else if I need to. So this is 2-inch by 4-inch, and it's 4 foot. So you could make a lot of tomato cages with this thing. I'd say you could make at least 20, maybe 25 tomato cages with it. Now, one of my subscribers asked me to tell them about these, how I made these little fences, and it's not a hard thing to do. First of all, of course, you need that fencing. If you measure using a tape measure all the way around one of these buckets, it's roughly 3 feet. So that's 36 inches. So if we start here, go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. So I made it just a little bit smaller than 3 feet. Each one of those is, since they're 2 by 4 inches, you can measure it that way, or you could use a tape measure. If you look at it, you can see that all I did is cut it off and bend it around. So I used wire cutters to cut it, and then I bent it around using a pair of pliers to just hook it on. Simple to make, pretty easy, and it does work. It keeps the cats out, and that's why I made it. Now, one of the other really good things about these little cages that I found out, I didn't plan it this way, but it just kind of worked out this way, is what I wound up doing, because I planted my garden kind of in the early spring last year, is once I made these little cages, I put a clear plastic bag over it, and it kind of acted as a little mini greenhouse, and that actually did work out well. So that's another use for these little tiny cages, or fences rather. So thanks for watching.